Hello and welcome to NewsX World. I'm Thomas Porteous and you are watching Hollywood Calling. From celebrity scoops to film and music buzz, here's your quick look at what's making headlines in entertainment today. Pierce Brosnan is teasing a return to his iconic James Bond role at 72, this time with a wink. He says he'd consider playing a senior 007 if Dune director Denis Villeneuve is on board. As fans speculate about the next Bond, Brosnan's playful comeback talk has stirred excitement and questions about a possible double Bond twist. Taylor Swift drops her most candid interview yet on boyfriend Travis Kelce's New Heights podcast, revealing personal moments and music news with zero media filters. The episode smashed records with 15 million views in just 2 days, making it the most watched podcast premiere on YouTube. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet were seen together at in Budapest amid Dune Part 3 filming. Their coffee shop visit sparked fan selfies and quieted breakup rumours after Kylie liked Timothy's post. They maintain a mostly private relationship since 2023. Gal Gadot says Disney's Snow White remake struggled at the box office due to Hollywood's political pressures, particularly regarding Israel. She expressed disappointment over the film's performance, but emphasized the challenges celebrities face in navigating complex industry expectations and controversies. Now we start in the UK, where Gary Lineker is back in the awards spotlight. He's been nominated for the Best TV Presenter at the National Television Awards, his first nod since 2017. This comes just months after he exited Match of the Day, ending a 26-year run. Lineker left the BBC in May following controversy over his social media post. Now he could break Anton Deck's 23-year streak in the presenter category. Fans will decide the winners with results announced on September the 10th. Lineker's return to the spotlight has set the stage for a potential NTA shake-up. We're now joined by our guest, Andrea Georgi. She's a journalist from London. She joins us to discuss this situation. Andrea, thank you very much for joining us. How significant is Gary Lineker's nomination here? His first since 2017, especially after his dramatic exit from the BBC earlier this year.
Good evening. Gary Lineker has been shortlisted for Best Presenter at the National Television Awards here in the UK. As you've said, it is his first NTA nomination since 2017, so almost a decade has passed since his last nomination at these awards. You have mentioned the circumstances there and the lead up to the nomination. His departure from the BBC happened in May at the end of the Premier League season, and he is being shortlisted for this award now, just a few months after his exit from Match of the Day, following controversy around his social media usage. Now, Gary Lineker's departure was not just from Match of the Day. It was a move that meant he completely left the BBC. And he had been previously announced as leaving the BBC following coverage of the FA Cup and the 2026 World Cup. However, this didn't happen in the end. He ended up leaving the BBC straight away at the end of the 2024-25 Premier League season. And this wasn't the first time, really, that Lineker and the BBC didn't see eye to eye. The former footballer had been previously suspended temporarily by the BBC. That was back in 2023 when he once again took to social media. At that time, he criticized one of the then government's policies. And in the wake of that incident, the broadcaster issued new social media rules for presenters of its flagship programs. But regardless of the controversies, Lineker was a significant part of Match of the Day, which is really the BBC's flagship football show. And he had been well regarded for his abilities as a presenter. He presented the program, as you've said, for 26 years, and he had the longest tenure out of all Match of the Day presenters. So coming back to this nomination, I would say it goes to show his abilities as a presenter and is significant given his tenure as Match of the Day presenter, as the series' longest serving presenter since 1999, all the way till May, just a few months ago.
Andrea, does this nomination does this nomination signal a possible career revival, or as you said, is there no potential of a Lineker comeback here?
Well, despite his departure from the BBC, I have got to mention that Lineker has been very active in his broadcasting career. He is on the Rest is Football podcast here in the UK, extremely popular podcast. And earlier this month, it was announced that Lineker had actually signed up to present a new game show. This is going to be called The Box. It's going to be on ITV and due to air next year in 2026. So regardless of his match of the day departure, Gary Lineker has had and keeps having a very prolific broadcasting and media career. So I would say that the nomination comes as an acknowledgement of his presenting abilities and reinforces that rather than signaling a career revival.
Andrea, and finally, with fans deciding the winners, how much of a role does Lineker's popularity outside football play in his chances?
Well, the National Television Awards are often branded as television's biggest night of the year. It's a big night for the TV industry here in the UK, and as you can expect, the competition is looking very strong. Looking at the nominees in this category, the Best Presenter category at the National Television Awards, the competition is going to be fierce. We've got among the nominees Claudia Winkleman, who presents The Traitors and Strictly Come Dancing. We've got Alison Hammond, very well known for her role on This Morning and The Great British Bake Off. We've also got Stacey Solomon, who has presented the BAFTA-nominated series Sort Your Life Out. And of course, Ant and Dec, presenters of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and Britain's Got Talent. They have won this award for 23 years. So 23 years in a row. Can Lineker or anyone else challenge them? We shall see. We've spoken about the caliber of nominees here, and the fact that the public gets to vote and decide who wins these awards, I think it makes it particularly exciting for the public. And Lineker is very popular, but whether he or anyone else really can challenge Ant and Dec, that remains to be seen. They've had such a strong hold on these awards for the last 23 years. So we shall see whether Lineker's popularity can really make a difference here. We'll find out on the 10th of September when the awards are being held at the O2 in London.
Andrea, pleasure talking to you and having you on the programme. Thank you very much for taking out the time to talk to us. We now move over to the music industry, where Taylor Swift gave one of her most revealing interviews yet this week, speaking openly on the New Heights podcast with boyfriend Travis Kelce. Swift bypassed traditional media, taking complete control of her narrative. Fans noticed she dropped her interview voice, sharing personal insights safely. The podcast drew 1.3 million viewers live, becoming YouTube's most viewed podcast launch. Let's dig deeper into this.
Taylor Swift gave one of her most unguarded interviews yet, speaking openly on the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce. She bypassed traditional media outlets entirely, taking full control of her narrative and sharing her story on her own terms. Fans noted she dropped her interview voice, revealing personal details while maintaining complete control over what gets out. The podcast premiere drew 1.3 million live viewers, becoming the most viewed podcast launch in YouTube history. Swift shared inside details on her music career, including working with Max Martin and negotiating her masters with Shamrock Capital. Following a 6-year battle, Swift now owns her masters, giving her total control over her music and legacy. With just 2 months until the life of a showgirl, Swift continues to show the media needs her more than she needs them. Bureau Report, NewsX World.
Now over to Hollywood, where actress Emily Blunt has unveiled her new look on the set of The Devil Wears Prada 2 in New York City. She sported a bleach blonde bob with a shadow root, a sharp departure from her original character's signature deep red hair. Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep and Emily Blunt, and also Stanley Tucci will reprise their roles. The sequel also features Lucy Liu, Justin Theroux, BJ Novak, Pauline Chalamet, Simone Ashley, Kenneth Branagh, and Broadway stars Helen J. Shen and Conrad Ricamora. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is expected to hit theatres on May the 1st, 2026. We're now joined by our guest, Amrita Roy, who's a filmmaker and director. She joins us live from Mumbai. Thank you very much, Amrita, for joining us here on NewsX World Hollywood Calling. What does Emily Blunt's new bold blonde look reveal about her character's evolution in The Devil Wears Prada 2?
Hi, thanks. Actually, Emily Blunt's new character is all you see. Is a very big dynamic shift from her previous role in the original Devil Wears Prada, and then now she's into this blonde look. It is, of course, a power figure. So with this blonde look, earlier when we see the Emily Blunt's character, she was intimidating, but she was an aspiring fashion megastar. She was always looking towards Miranda Priestly, but now it seems like in 20 years gap, she has already reached there. So she defines a very powerful persona with her hairstyle and her look, her costumes. So audience may think that this is something very drastic character change. There's a difference in character arc from previous role to this role is going to happen. So yeah, Emily Blunt is perhaps she has got what she wanted to. She was an ambitious fashion persona. She wanted to make a career, and she was looking towards Miranda Priestly as a mentor. And this persona is giving a lot of shades. It's not only power, but of course there is a hint of this could be like a rivalry or something, a power struggle, like she could have been a new Miranda Priestly or something like that. So yeah, this has made all the audience very, very curious that how the sequel story is going to be. Is it a continuation of the same character? But definitely not, because now you see it's 20 years gap and there is a lot shift in the fashion scenario. There are big conglomerate and digital media, PR, and fashion has taken all together very, very different routes. So this look is giving a lot of curiosity where Emily is these days, where she has shifted in 20 years. Has she overtaken Miranda Priestly, or has she become a rival, or has she become a boss, and what is going to happen? So I guess this is very curious and very interesting look they have created for Emily Blunt.
Yes, and just briefly, how does the return of Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci shape expectations for the sequel?
Very high expectations, because original Devil Wears Prada was such a massive hit and audience is still not forgotten. So these four characters were the pillars of the movie, and we want to see what happened to them in 20 years time span. Did Stanley Tucci, he was an ambitious but not very aggressive person. So has she achieved his dreams? What happened to Miranda Priestly? What happened to Andy? Has she maintained her ideology and made her name in the fashion or journalism?
Yes.
What happened to Emily? So, we all are very, very glued and very, very curious to see what happened to these four very, very dear and very fascinating, very good looking and very, very interesting characters.
Amrita, do stay with us to discuss further stories. We stay in the world of Hollywood. Could James Bond return with grey hair and a sense of humour? At 72, Pierce Brosnan says he's not ruling out a comeback as 007 if the right director calls. With Denis Villeneuve set to direct the next Bond film, Brosnan's playful pitch has fans buzzing. Here's the full story.
Veteran star Pierce Brosnan is leaving the door open for a return to his most iconic role, James Bond. And at 72, he's not ruling out a comeback, but with a healthy dose of humour. In a recent interview, Brosnan said he'd consider playing a senior 007 if the right director came calling. And that director in his mind is Denis Villeneuve. The June filmmaker is set to direct the next James Bond film for Amazon MGM Studios, and Brosnan says if Villeneuve had something up his sleeve, he'd look at it in a heartbeat. The former Bond added it could be lots of laughs, bold caps, prosthetics, who knows, he said. A playful nod to what a more mature Bond might look like on screen. Brosnan famously played 007 in 4 blockbuster films from 1995 to 2002 and remains one of the most beloved Bonds of the modern era. While producers have promised a fresh, exhilarating new chapter in the franchise, Brosnan says both he and his wife are eager to see who gets cast next. No word yet on casting, but with Brosnan teasing a comeback, fans are now wondering if there could be room for 2 Bonds in the next film. Bureau Report, NewsX World.
We are once again joined by Amrita Roy. Amrita, at 72, what does Pierce Brosnan's openness to reprise James Bond say about how the franchise could evolve?
I think franchise would evolve like 10 times more than it already were, because Pierce Brosnan is one of the most loved James Bond. He did 4 movies and he's still in his like, you can say 72 is the new 50 or something, because he's very charming and with this gray look, salt and pepper look, and he's doing other movies where we saw his very playful, fun-loving persona. So his inclusion in new James Bond, and there is a huge curiosity that who will be the new James Bond would be. So that increased that USP of the movie. Next franchisee, not only this new one, but who is going to be the next James Bond, and how Pierce Brosnan fits into this new franchisee, whether he's passing the baton or like he's grooming the new one, or what could be. So this storyline is keeping audience glued. It's like audience are very curious to know how Pierce Brosnan, and it is very good to see that Pierce Brosnan again in action with this new gadgets. See, there is a long gap between his last James Bond franchisee and this one. So over the period, James Bond whole characterization, the visualization, the set, and with the change dynamics, new directors, their treatment, visual effects, these things would be worth watching. And it is like, since he has given this statement that he might return, audience are like very curious, very excited to see him again in franchisee. So yeah, we all are, I think it is like global phenomena. People would love to see the James Bond in today's time, what he does with today's modern gadgets and modern elevated VFX effects and all that.
Amrita, there's been minimal information released about a new James Bond. It will be released on Amazon MGM Studios, with the director, the June director, being confirmed in the director's chair, Denis Villeneuve. Tell us about the excitement surrounding it.
See, James Bond is always the most loved character in all of the movie circuits. All cinephiles, whether they are belonging to art films or commercial films, James Bond has made a special place in audience hearts all over the world. It's not only Hollywood, but in India and everyone. James Bond has become itself a trademark, a word that is synonym with the style, the charisma, that the charming personality, and I think Pierce Brosnan fits the character of James Bond. So there are a lot of speculation. People are waiting for next James Bond. So yeah, as like speculations are there, who would be the next James Bond, as well as how the treatment would be, because earlier when Pierce Brosnan was James Bond, there were like more emphasis on gadgets and technical things, but then when he left and next franchisee, they focused more on a little more complicated and cinematic storyline. So yeah, there would be a lot of speculation how the treatment would be, and definitely we want Pierce Brosnan to show to be in a very soft, very stylish persona, and uh, he can cover the two generations. So new generation which are not which hasn't seen, or I think they must have seen, but if they haven't seen the original one, they can reprise their memories, or they can, and old loyal
Yes.
fans as well as new generation of fans, they all can connect with Pierce Brosnan.
Amrita Roy, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Pleasure to have you on. We now move on once again, where Elon Musk is making headlines, but this time for a personal controversy. The billionaire is locked in a bitter custody battle with Conservative commentator Ashley St. Clair, who claims she's facing eviction and financial ruin while raising their alleged child, Romulus. The case remains ongoing. Let's now take a deeper look into this.
Billionaire Elon Musk is once again making headlines, but this time it's not about rockets or electric cars. It's about a bitter custody battle with Conservative commentator Ashley St. Clair, who says she's now broke, getting evicted, and had to launch a podcast just to keep a roof over her head. It's not the glamorous life you'd expect from someone tied to the world's richest man. Ashley St. Clair, who claims she shares a child with the Tesla CEO, says she's facing eviction. The 26-year-old influencer launched her podcast, Bad Advice, earlier this week, joking that her career took a nosedive after what she calls a year of unplanned career suicide and questionable life choices. St. Clair went public earlier this year, claiming Musk fathered her son, Romulus, born in September of 2024, making him the tech mogul's 13th child. Musk initially cast doubt on paternity, but later admitted he wasn't against finding out. A test reportedly claimed a 99.999% match. Court filings revealed Musk allegedly offered St. Clair $15 million up front and $100,000 per month to keep the child's existence a secret, an offer she turned down. Instead, she filed for sole custody in New York. Musk claims he's already paid her $2.5 million and sends $500,000 a year, tweeting, "I don't know if the child is mine or not, but I'm not against finding out." But St. Clair fired back, accusing Musk of slashing payments and using money to control her. Once a rising Conservative voice and children's book author, St. Clair now says she's podcasting to make ends meet. The custody battle is still ongoing, with both sides keeping much of the legal fight under wraps. As for Musk, he hasn't publicly acknowledged Romulus as his son, at least not yet. Bureau Report, NewsX World.
We return to the world of Hollywood, where Terence Stamp, the Oscar-nominated English actor, best known as General Zod in Superman and Superman 2, has died at aged 87. His career spanned 6 decades with iconic roles in Billy Budd, Far From the Madding Crowd, The Collector, and The Adventures of Priscilla, the Queen of the Desert. Born in East London in 1938, he became a 1960s icon known for his brooding screen presence and high-profile romances. After a brief retreat from acting, he returned with memorable roles in films like Valkyrie, The Phantom Menace, and Last Night in Soho. BAFTA also called his work extraordinary. We move on once again. Arena on September the 7th, hosted by LL Cool J. Performers include Sabrina Carpenter, up for 8 awards, including Video of the Year for Man-Child, along with Ricky Martin, J Balvin, featuring DJ Snake, Alex Warren, Busta Rhymes, and rising artist Somber. Busta will receive the Rock the Bells Visionary Award, while Martin will be honoured with the inaugural Latin Icon Award. Lady Gaga leads nominations with 12, followed by Bruno Mars, Kendrick Lamar, and Sabrina Carpenter. The show will go on air on CBS, MTV, and stream on Paramount. Gal Gadot has clarified her comments about the box office failure of Disney's Snow White after her earlier remarks went viral. The actress initially said the film was going to be huge until the 2023 Hamas attack and claimed pressure on celebrities to post against Israel impacted the movie. In a new Instagram statement, she said her response came from an emotional place and admitted many factors determine a film's success. Snow White earned $205 million worldwide against a $300 million budget and received poor reviews, prompting Disney to put other live-action remakes on hold. Justin Baldini has responded to allegations of bullying and harassment made by Isabella Farah, who played the younger version of Blake Lively's character in It Ends With Us. Farah claimed Baldini and his production company, Wayfair Studios, engaged in unfair treatment during legal proceedings, refusing to cover her legal costs unless she allowed them to control her response to a subpoena. She alleged Baldini attempted to manipulate and intimidate her. Baldini's legal team denied the claims, calling them without merit and saying the subpoena was a valid step to collect documents outside the scope of her original subpoena. The dispute adds tension to the high-profile legal case surrounding It Ends With Us, with the trial scheduled for March 2026. Jimmy Kimmel is looking back at a life-threatening moment with Matt Damon that turned into a hilarious tale. Jimmy revealed that a dinner at his house, Damon choked on a pork rib for over an hour. After multiple Heimlich attempts, they finally resolved the crisis using bread to help the rib move down. The host joked that if Damon had died, he would have faced prison, calling the situation murder. The story comes amid their long-standing good-natured feud that started in 2005, which both celebrities hilariously trolling each other ever since. The friendship and funny rivalry between Kimmel and Damon has lasted over 15 years, providing countless memorable moments. Jimmy Kimmel is firing back after CBS announced the end of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He flatly denied reports the show lost $40 million annually, calling that claim beyond nonsensical and accusing media insiders of ignoring crucial affiliate revenue. Kimmel emphasized that late-night viewership remains strong, just shifting to digital platforms. He expressed support for Colbert, urging fans to back his Emmy bid and wishing him well for his next chapter. Industry watchers will be closely following how late night adapts to changing streaming landscapes and network politics. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet were spotted together in Budapest during a coffee shop visit. Timothée is currently filming Dune Part 3 in the city. The couple posed for selfies with fans, keeping things low-key but friendly. This public outing comes amid recent breakup rumors, which Kylie quietly dismissed by liking one of Timothy's posts. The pair have kept their relationship mostly private since it began in 2023, making only a few public appearances together. Fans continue to watch closely as their romance quietly unfolds away from the spotlight. Millie Bobby Brown is embracing a new role, motherhood. The Stranger Things star and husband Jake Bon Jovi have announced the adoption of their baby daughter. In a heartfelt Instagram post, Millie shared, "We welcomed our sweet baby girl this summer." The couple, who married 15 months ago, expressed their joy, asking for privacy as they begin this new chapter. No name has been revealed yet. The 21-year-old actress recently wrapped filming the final season of Stranger Things and completed work on Enola Holmes 3. For Millie and Jake, it's now a family of 3. Well, that's a wrap on Hollywood Calling for today. Your daily dose of stars, style, and stories returns soon.